Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning to Stinker. Who's Stinker? It's not the normal Stinker in the chat room. I think you meant Stormbreaker, Cassie. Morning, everyone. Welcome. Saturday morning. Oh my God, the first weekend of December. What are we doing? Where is it going? How are we getting there? When will we get there? But anyway, if any of you are in any shadow of doubt as to the fact that it's Christmas, go and check out Vlogmas. Combative, shiny, ridiculous, stupid. Last night we were at Spitalfields Vlogmas, our reality show that runs every day. It's like an advent calendar on YouTube. You just don't know what you're going to get. You're certainly not going to get chocolate. You might, but you are going to get lots of kind of comedic chit chat over expensive London events and things like that. And Louise Pudney, you absolutely can say, can I just say, I love Pepper's white bottom. It sounds odd to say it, doesn't it? But so do I. There's something rather beautiful about it. Oh, I do love our dogs. And look, there over my right shoulder is darling Chi-Chi, who we will never, ever forget. Pepper was doing something actually earlier today, which we'll show you in the vlog, in Vlogmas, that Chi-Chi used to do a lot. Anyway, good morning, guys. Good morning. It's Saturday. It's the Saturday moaning. We used to call this the Saturday moaning papers. Fuck the papers. That's my opening gambit. You can go fuck the papers. It's not that we don't look at the news outlets. We don't look at their apps. We don't look at what headlines they're running. But my God, what a paltry selection of shite. I mean, more often than not now, you need to head over to, unfortunately, whether the likes of Nick Ferrari and all those kind of mainstream legacy media types like it or not, you need to head over to social media. That's where the action's happening. Other platforms, YouTube, Instagram, you know, subclips. There are more and more inventive, creative and clever people dealing with the news elsewhere other than fucking dinosaur-like newspapers. Every click gives them revenue, says Musical Chips, and do it for everyone else. That's what I'm saying. So just because it's festive, we're going to go through not really the news, but we're going to talk about a couple of topical things. Here's some things for you to think about today. Podcasts is where the facts are. Although it's true, MeTube says that. If you're listening on podcast, MeTube, the names of people I'm talking to are people in our chat room. But listen, you're right, MeTube. But here's the thing. And I do hope that Coffee Moaning kind of bucks the trend a little bit with this. Even with podcasts, sometimes I'll go to, oh, The Rest is Politics has landed a new episode, or oh, the news agents have landed. And news agents are slightly more different because it happens on the day. But even there's a kind of time lag sometimes. Almost all of the kind of hullabaloo of getting a studio and all that kind of stuff. I do think a podcast like The Trawl does a really good job of staying on top of things as they're happening. It's quite hard to stay on top of things as they're happening, unless you're forever uploading, which we try to. So, but yeah. So if you wonder who Pepper is, if you wonder who the puppy is, we have a puppy called Pepper. Pretty self-evident, really. This is the only social media I use, Robert Marriott. So happier and more time to myself as a result. Bless you. That's very kind of you, Robert. Bless you. Mitchum, I like the lag because they use that time to really put their thoughts together. Yes, I suppose, yes, in some instances that's true. I mean, it's putting your thoughts together, but then also sometimes the story has certainly with American politics, sometimes the stories have moved so far on from even like 2 days ago that I get frustrated that I'm sort of thinking, yeah, but I want to know what you think about what's happened today. Maybe that's that ADHD thing. I'm impatient. But for anyone who's in any shadow of doubt as to what could be the new Christmas one this year, I give you this. Hurtling up the charts, more than likely to be Christmas #1. Take it away, Yoko. Yeah. Fucking hell, that's as much of that as I can take. I think it's going to be an absolute surefire hit. Good old Yoko. Never really got my head round Yoko. I mean, I know everyone says she was an artist in her own right. Why'd you knock her? It's so sexist. I don't know, though. I just don't know. Anyway, what we're going to talk about, Donald Trump. Donald Trump's won the World Cup. Hey! Or has he? Or has he? Or has the World Cup, or has FIFA, in a suppurating act of gimpification inspired by our Prime Minister Starmer, gone and manufactured a Fisher-Price trophy and said, you can have this. I'm so amazed. I don't even know what soccer is. We call it football. No, you call it football. We call it soccer. What is soccer? I don't think you could kick a ball if you tried. FIFA are a disgrace, as Nordal. We're going to talk about Trump's fake World Cup Peace Award. I never knew that never knew that FIFA handed out peace awards. Really? So in the absence of the Nobel Peace Prize, he's awarded a shortened version of the World Cup. I want to ask, look, I'm sure we're all sick to death of Farage. You know, I am, we all are. But I want to ask a counterintuitive question. Is all of the hullabaloo and all of the headlines and the Guardian's insistence again this morning on pursuing yet more sort of stories around him, is Farage's racist past actually helping him? Is this actually a rallying call for support? Is this actually something that isn't seen to be something to be seen to be ashamed of, but actually something that's actually like, well, okay, well, he's a racist and well and good. So my worry here is, could the mainstream media, could the BBC, the Guardian and such like, could we be in danger of over-pillorying him, over-emphasizing his racist credentials to the point that people start to feel a bit sorry for him? Because that always seems to happen in the UK, doesn't it? And Meghan Markle contacts her dad because he's had his leg, I think his leg amputated. Is that right? That's just in there. I was kind of looking through the headlines and I thought, well, everyone has a strong opinion on Meghan, even if I don't agree with it. So we've also got Melania. Melania's Christmas is such a riot. Melania Trump, the First Lady's Christmas, looks like it's full of scintillating banter, warmth, bonhomie, and just, you know, informal kind of festive fun. Not. She tries to read a children's Christmas story. But really, the main story here is Trump. And so we're going to be homing in on him. In the meantime, I posted this on Instagram last night. We've seen Yoko. He's another great old crooner from the, you know, classic, still performing after all these years. But it's really weird. I posted this on Instagram last night. This was fed to me literally by my algorithm, or the algorithm of my Instagram account, as I tried to get out of the sofa after me and Nad's watching an episode of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And Instagram fed me this. Wait for it. Wait for it. Now, at first, and so consequently, because I watched that and posted it as a kind of joke, I was then fed this morning. I woke up this morning to yet more Cliff Richard. And then another little thing crept into my ear and into my head. I thought, I can't quite believe I'm about to say this. I quite like that song. What? I actually thought, I didn't realize he did it. Yeah, but anyway, that was exactly me attempting to get out of the Real Housewives of generic slouch in a sofa, trying to get up. That's what happened there. But I have to say, I then saw this and I thought, I actually searched on Google for, what's the name of that song? I know, what's going on? Orbital, Bicep, Faithless, Left Field, Cliff Richard. Fantastic, of course, it mixes really well. We're also going to have a little bit of a swipe, because I can't fucking stand her. Hillary Clinton. What an unspeakably corrupt, complicit, nasty woman she is. So yeah, we're going to talk about that too. So I'm going to hold back on Trump because it's just unbelievable. But pivoting back to Farage, and some of you have said we mustn't let it go. We mustn't let it pass. We mustn't let him off. One has to keep going on and on and on about it. But this is the front story on The Guardian. Former Dulwich pupil says Farage told him that's the way back to Africa. For those of you listening on podcasts, we're looking at a young black boy and his mum standing on a doorstep. He was obviously taken when he was at Dulwich College. He says, I'll never forget the look of hatred Nigel Farage had for me at school simply for existing, says Yinka Bankole. And here's an image of him as a grown man. Now, I think there's nothing surprising in this, and I am not at all hesitant in describing Reform as a far-right party that is and a racist party that's appealing to far-right people and racists, but also is managing or trying to convince people who aren't far-right and aren't racist to target certain sections of society, or to focus on certain sections of society and to kind of focus their ire and discontent and frustration and anger on. I feel reform is someone described them, a snake skin cell or whatever it is. You know, they're manipulating, they're kind of greasing the public, they're kind of instilling conflict, they're trying to generate resentment. And so consequently, I think they are baked and marinated in far-right politics. And I think, you know, clearly the party is an extension, well, actually, it's an extension. It's a dilution and distillation, I would say reform is, of what Farage was spouting, saying, and doing at school. Snake oil salesman. Thank you, Sheila Patterson. So, you know, sometimes we get people coming here and they say things like, well, it's not a far-right party. Yes, it is. It really is. I'd say Conservatives is a right-wing party that's moving further right. I'd say that the Labour Party has for a long time been a centrist, not even really centre-left, a centrist party. I mean, I saw a headline yesterday saying Tony Blair's frustrated by how left-wing Starmer's government is. That tells you everything you need to know about the new king of Gaza, Tony Blair, unspeakably corrupt, financially orientated, hideous individual. So I don't have any issue with describing reform what they are, but that doesn't mean that everyone who supports reform is a racist. But I would say to anyone who is sort of stepping towards reform, careful, because people will think you're a racist. And I think that's important to say, because I think people will. If I hear someone says they're a member of reform, I automatically think you're a racist until you prove otherwise, and then say something to kind of disprove that thought. It's a bit like the Brexit conundrum, isn't it? Not everyone who's racist would have voted for Brexit, but not everyone who voted for Brexit is racist, if you get me. Emma's crafty craft, or crazy crafts. I support a lot of what reforms stand for, but I'm not far right or racist. I simply sit on the right. Okay, well, I think you are not far right or racist, but in supporting reform, you're supporting a party that is far right and racist. So obviously, you know, I'm not suggesting you're that, but yeah, I think you prove, Emma, exactly how you can sit as a supporter of a party that for the vast majority of people feels to be far right and dangerously racist. I mean, that's unfortunately how I feel about it. So yeah, but here's my thought on this. And it's a little bit like, far right isn't just fascist. I don't agree. I don't actually agree. Far right is far right. Fascist is when you get into the kind of behavior that the Nazis in Germany engaged in, which is a development of far right politics, fascism. And then also the Israeli government, I would say, is a fascist government. There's no contradiction there. There's no blood libel. There's no anti-Semitism. It's the behavior and the treatment of others, you know, and the inhumane treatment of life speaks towards fascism, whereas you can be far right and not be encouraging the killing of people or engaged in the killing of people. But here's my problem with this story, and I think the left, I think Greens, I think Labour, not that Greens are part of this, but I think the kind of what's widely perceived to be the middle class progressive media in the form of, say, The Guardian, the BBC, have to be careful, because I think if we press down too constantly and too voraciously and insistently on this constant kind of drip effect of his racism and his childhood racism, at some point it could end up doing the very thing that I think the Democrats desire to kind of, if you like, you know, criminalize and imprison Donald Trump. It could have that effect in which people just get sick to death of what they feel is an agenda to pull him down. The fact that the mainstream agenda, by and large, across all media is right wing, is by the by. That always gets ignored. But I do think when you are a minority voice, though some would argue against this, in sort of being progressive or more liberal minded, and if you think of the Telegraph, the Mail, the Sun, they're all right wing. But I think unless you box clever, you run the risk of actually making people feel not sorry for Farage, but people will get a bit tired of the accusation, and they'll be a bit like, oh, come on, hit him on policies. We've established what his credentials were at school. Now step back from the story. Passive aggressive. They're making him into a martyr, and in a weird way, not that I'm advising Farage, all he needs to do is sit back and let them keep on attacking him, because he can then say, look, there's a clear agenda. This is the progressive left. This is the, you know, for God's sake, let bygones be, you know, and all this kind of stuff. If one keeps going on about it, it ends up running the risk of looking like it's the only thing you've got, you know, to hit him with. Whereas you can actually just try hitting him on all of his policies. Harvest Moon says, Reform is a fake far-right party. It's meant to draw all the people who could be attracted to the far-right people into the fold and then collapse it. I mean, I think what the Reform Party have also managed to achieve successfully is nudge the Conservatives, or the Conservatives are trying to go further to the right. And I think they've done that successfully, because I think it wouldn't be a stretch, would it, to see Kemi Badenoch and Farage, you know, them all kind of uniting behind a kind of coalition sort of situation. And the whole system has successfully pushed Labour ever more to the centre, which if you're pushed to the centre from the left, you're being pushed to the right. So, you know, I think in a weird way, whilst a story like this is important, this student's experience is real, I think The Guardian needs to lay off and finish this story. Otherwise, it's just, as you rightly say, he's going to be turned into a martyr, and people are just going to kind of go, well, okay, just shut up now, because yes, it's wrong. Yes, he's this. Yes, he's that. But I don't think there's going to be any net result. Farage absolutely, me too, prefers the distraction to any discussion or focus on policy. And so as a consequence, I actually think, as I say, asking the title, is Farage's racist past helping him? I also think, here's another thing, I can't remember who was it who said you support, I think it was Emma, you feel you align with some of Reform's policies. I would argue that this pursuit of Farage, you're absolutely right again, Mitri, Guardian's preaching to people they don't need to preach to, they're already convinced. I think this pursuit of Farage's racist past also runs a very real risk, actually, of allowing a lot more people who aren't necessarily outwardly racist, but think or feel racist thoughts, or have grown up in sort of, you know, with old-fashioned racist kind of ideas or values, but wouldn't articulate them, and perhaps have even sort of systematically over the years thought, you know, okay, well, that's not a good thing to do. I wonder whether, my worry is that it almost helps him. It almost legitimizes more and more people to say, I'm not racist, but. I just think more and more people will say, well, I'm not racist, but. And I think in a weird way, I think every part of this now has just tipped over into benefiting Farage and benefiting Reform, and possibly fueling, legitimizing, and excusing low-level racism and high-level racism in huge parts of society. And it's really important to remember this, guys. I've said many times before, I was always shocked and surprised when, I was toying with the Labour Party as, I was 18, 19, going to college. And I remember thinking, oh my God, you can be left wing, you can vote Labour, but you can still be homophobic, racist, and all this kind of stuff. Racism also exists within ethnic minorities towards other ethnic minorities. And that's something that doesn't get looked at massively. Racism isn't just a white person's preserve. You can have real kind of ethnic kind of hierarchies within all sorts of cultures, from different cultures, different races towards different cultures and different races in the country. So, Reform can appeal to so many different types of people. Musical Chimp, Labour have not been a left-wing party in my lifetime. Well, they had a moment, didn't they, with Jeremy Corbyn, but of course the Zionist lobby successfully kind of destroyed that. So that's my thoughts on Farage. So shall we just have a moment? Let's just hear from Melania Trump reading a children's story. If you want to feel festive, if you want to feel the warmth of a Christmas fire and cozy storytelling and all of the joys and sign up to Melania Trump's children's storytelling time.
Does he wear night vision goggles that make everything green? I bet he'd like that because Santa likes green. Or heat vision goggles because he might like red better. Should we leave out carrots, not cookies, on Christmas Eve, since they're good for his eyesight?
I think that might be the first book she's read in a while. She stumbled over quite a few words. She's a mystery. Blimey, that's quite sort of flattering. She's a mystery. She's almost enigmatic. The sound of her, it's like a page in a book she hadn't dealt with in about 65 years. I mean, quite staggering. And those poor kids. And the story about how Santa gets down. Is he wearing night vision goggles? This must be part of the same group of books that Hegseth was promoting. Franklin targets narco-terrorists. English is not my first language. You're absolutely right. And one has to recognize that. Absolutely. But I don't know whether Trump, I wonder if ICE is close to knocking on Trump's door. Just a thought. It's just a thought. Wouldn't that be awful? I think they went after, didn't ICE go after one of Caroline Leavitt, the US press spokesperson's, someone in her family? I think they did. Okay, well, we're stepping inexorably towards Trump. So why don't we look at this story? This is the World Cup draw yesterday. I'm sorry, I used to love football, but I don't anymore. It's as simple as that. I've tried to for various friends of kids and things like that. But anyway, the World Cup draw happened yesterday. I can't remember. I think we drew Ghana, Croatia, maybe. Anyway, it's happening in America. It's happening. Thank you, Caroline Leavitt's brother-in-law's family. Yeah, it's a bit close to home, isn't it? I wonder if she was happy about that. Unapologetically political, a World Cup draw like no other. Trump was awarded the inaugural, meaning it's fictional and never been given out before, FIFA Peace Prize at the World Cup draw in Washington. Why is FIFA giving out? I mean, the part of this I don't really understand is FIFA's World Cup is happening in America anyway. They don't need to ingratiate him, do they? Unless they feel there's a massive untapped market in America that they need to gain access to. And so this is the prize. It's a shortened World Cup. And I've likened this feels like a teeny tiny toddler having a kind of complete fucking, temper tantrum. And FIFA are like, what the fuck do we do? We can't give him the World Cup. Let's make a small World Cup out of gold and let's call it a peace prize. And then let's give it to him. It's the most bizarre what's FIFA got to do with peace? It's got nothing to do with peace. Anyway, we've got a number of clips here, all of which are more bizarre than each other. And we've got it from various angles, a little bit like an action replay in football. Here you go.
By the way, my family, my great First Lady, Melania, you're right here, and thank you very much. And I think you're going to have an event the likes of which maybe the world has never seen. Based on the enthusiasm that I've seen, I have never seen anything like it. We've had a tremendous working relationship with Canada. We have our Prime Minister of Canada there, and we have our President of Mexico. And we've worked closely with those two countries, and the coordination and friendship and relationship has been outstanding, and I want to thank you both very much, and your countries very much. But most importantly, I just want to thank everybody. The world is a safer place now. The United States 1 year ago was not doing too well, and now I have to say we're the hottest country anywhere in the world, and we're going to keep it that way. Thank you all. Thank you. Have a great time. And Johnny, a tremendous honor. Thank you.
I mean, he's thanking Mexico and Canada, two countries. One he threatened to invade. Well, both he's threatened to invade. Both of which he's threatened to tariff into hell. And suddenly he's suddenly there. Thanks for working with us. It's bizarre. There, he had the giant medal around his neck. Here's another clip.
Come the very first winner of the Peace Prize. Mr. President, this is your prize. This is your Peace Prize. There is also a beautiful medal for you that you can wear everywhere you want to go.
Right now.
Okay, let me hold. Fantastic. Excellent.
He's one of those toddlers at a party where you've got in no way can you say to him, wait until you get home. The first and only time, and there's even a medal, and it's a giant medal. I'll put it on now. No. Why don't you wait till you get home? Take the party bag home, Donald. That's a great big medal. I'm going to put it around my head. It'll make my mouth look even smaller. It's just quite something, isn't it? Here's another clip.
Look at what has happened to football in the United States. It's, again, soccer in the United States. We seem to never call it that because we have a little bit of a conflict with another thing that's called football. But when you think about it, shouldn't it really be called? I mean, this is football. There's no question about it. We have to come up with another name for the NFL stuff.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make sense when you think about it. It is really football.
I mean, with all due respect, Donald's got a point. I've never really understood why they call American football football. It's not football. Football started, allegedly, over here. So he's kind of right. He's even throwing American sport under the bus to flatter the audience that's standing and sitting in front of him at that very point. And a minute ago, he didn't know what fucking soccer was. So he doesn't know what soccer is. He thinks it should be called football. It should be called football. To be brutally honest with you, if he could change that, that would change everything in the world. That would bring peace. That would bring peace.
Very much. This is truly one of the great honors of my life. And beyond awards, Johnny and I were discussing this. We saved millions and millions of lives. The Congo, as an example, over 10 million people killed, and it was heading for another 10 million very quickly. And it just, you know, the fact that we could do that, India, Pakistan, so many different wars that we're able to end.
He just talked. It's literally like diarrhea coming out of his mouth. Absolute drivel, absolute nonsense. Here is a man who's been given a massive inflatable Fisher-Price World Cup, and it looks bigger actually than the actual World Cup. And wasn't there that moment earlier in the year where he was standing on stage with all of the football kind of players and he was kind of muscling in and trying to take... It's unbearable. It's pacifying a toddler. It's like literally pacifying the biggest toddler in the world. Give him a big medal. Give him a big trophy. I've got a trophy. Give me the trophy. He's got a trophy. Oh, shocking, shocking. They gave him a made-up participation trophy because they know the best way to handle Trump is to treat him like a tantrum-throwing toddler. I mean, what's happened to the world? You got BB, he's a great big... You've got the massively overindulged teenager that is Israel. You've got this massive baby. Feed the ego. Didn't football get called that to differentiate it from rugby football? It's all so confusing. It's all so annoying. There's football, there's rugby, there's American... Well, what could it be called if it's not American football? Can't call it American soccer. He stayed on stage for Chelsea's world win. That's right. Thank you very much. Yeah. Desperate acts in desperate times. And it's just so frightening, isn't it? It's just so frightening. Do you think they're just going to give him the Nobel Peace Prize eventually, just so that it might just kind of keep him calm, shut him up? Voting them in has exposed them all, says Musical Chimp. Release the files. More loose association, confabulation, more evidence of actually advancing dementia. See, I don't know. I mean, I know everyone's kind of very keen and sort of quick to... I'm flabbergasted, Dawny. I know. To suggest it's dementia. I just think he's a self-obsessed, narcissistic fool who actually... like all true narcissists, wants to ingratiate and agree with whoever is in front of him at the time. And that doesn't matter if then he walks out of the room and completely fucking reverses his thoughts or his decisions. He wants to be loved by whoever's in front of him at any moment. So he'll look at Mamdani. So he'll almost say whatever he needs to say to the person in front of him, and also the proxy audience that comes with that person. He's never just talking to his audience. He's always trying to hijack those fans of whoever he's complimenting. So a classic case being Mamdani. He wanted to sort of he wanted to sort of appeal to everyone. What's Mamdani got that made everyone vote for him? So I want a bit of that. So I'm going to compliment him. What makes people love football? I've never heard, you could tell he's probably never kicked a football in his life. He doesn't even know what football is. Yet he's won an award. I just want to show you a clip of, just as we're in America, I just want to show you a clip of Hillary Clinton, or a clip about Hillary Clinton, because I can't fucking stand it. She was at this Zionist conference earlier in the week in New York.
Very noteworthy things to say about what she thinks is going on and why, why people's views on Israel have changed. Let's take a listen to that.
Particularly TikTok. That is where they were learning about what happened on October 7th, what happened in the, days, weeks, and months to follow. That's a serious problem.
In case you had any doubt about why they had to take over TikTok and make it much more censorious, this is why. But just imagine thinking that the problem here for Israel isn't the mass slaughter of hundreds of thousands. I mean, we have to be real about the actual death toll here of Palestinians, and seeing in your feed every day the worst atrocities you could possibly imagine, starving an entire population, turning all of the Gaza Strip into rubble, attacking hospitals, schools, mosques, churches, everything you can think of. No, that's not the problem. They just don't understand the history, Sagar. They just don't get it. And I mean, this is like the peak liberal Zionist view that worked for so long to keep people shut up.
And that's Crystal Ball. You can't believe her name, Crystal Ball from Breaking Point. Now, the reason this is so important, Hillary Clinton, as you saw from the graphic there, you won't have seen that if you're listening on podcast, supported to the tune of over $4 million by the Israeli lobby, AIPAC lobby in America. She's sitting on stage, spouting out totally defunct, old-fashioned Zionist Israeli propaganda shit, saying that it's everyone's fault for seeing what Israel not only did, but what they've told us they were going to do, told us they were doing, uploaded and showed us they were engaging in, disallowed the world's media to, interrogate this or analyze this. So she's spouting out that it's everyone's fault for going on to TikTok. She sat there, having been paid $4 million over the years. Her husband, who was caught in the Monica Lewinsky, blowjob situation, was blackmailed and bribed by Mossad because they had transcripts and copies of all of the voice notes and all the voice messages. The Clintons are also on and in the Epstein files. And you're trying to tell me there's not a connection here. I think, in my opinion, that she was put under an enormous amount of I think you better stand on that stage and tell us what you think about what's happening to Israel and help us sort out our public image. Otherwise, we could spill some beans on you. Unforgivably corrupt, unforgivably complicit. Proof yet again of the fact that the Democrats are, I would argue, actually, this manifestation and the Obama manifestation of the Democrats is worse than the Republicans, because nothing the Republicans do or Trump does surprises us. It horrifies us, but it doesn't surprise us. Whereas the Democrats pretend there's something else. And this is my worry with Gavin Newsom coming in, another paid supporter. He's been financed. He's been supported by Israel. He's been really reluctant to condemn or comment on or criticize the Israeli genocide. With every day that goes by, there is an attempt in American politics, Western politics, our government, the Western media, Europe, everywhere. There is an attempt to just get us every 24 hours away from the intense heat of the genocide that is importantly still going on. The West Bank is being decimated and annexed. Palestinians are being killed every day. It's still being called a ceasefire because it suits America, it suits the West, it suits the UK, it suits the Western media, and it suits Israel for the ceasefire idea to stick. The number of deaths aren't as high, but the conditions are as bad as they've always been. You don't reduce the Gaza Strip to rubble, and then in the space of 3 or 4 weeks, it's all just suddenly fine again. With every 24 hours that goes by, and hopefully Israel feels with the help of someone like Hillary Clinton, we can legitimize and step away from the awfulness of everything we've done. This is like trying to get away from an abusive relationship, a moment of domestic abuse, by hoping that if it's not talked about for 2, 3, 4 weeks, we can just sort of like, it's just an inconvenient truth. Forget Al Gore's inconvenient truth about the climate, about the environment. Everyone wants the inconvenient truth of Israel committing a live streamed genocide to just fade away. And the most useful tool in that, and we're seeing it every day, is just, oh, another day's gone by. Oh, another day's gone, quite literally, 24 hours, 24 hours. And the hope is that the fervency, the frustration, the anger, the fury, the resistance will just dissipate. Will just a scintilla of intensity will be removed from that feeling of fury. And who's culpable? Where's the culpability? No, we've just pivoted into, let's rebuild Gaza for Blair. Let's rebuild Gaza for Trump. Let's rebuild Gaza for all of the Zionist Israeli settlers who are buying chunks of it in places like synagogues in St. John's Wood, North London. Hillary Clinton is a corrupt, complicit fraud, and she should be ignored alongside Kamala, all of them. The Democrats, I find the Democrats worse. It's why I find the Labour Party worse, because they promise something else and they're not it. Unforgivable. Donna Holland, as long as the mainstream media are not showing the killing, people believe the garbage about a ceasefire for convenience. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And okay, look, you can't pretend, because, you know, we stay across Middle East Eye, Al Jazeera, various other kind of, you know, independent media outlets. And yes, the number of acute deaths and killings has gone down. But that doesn't change the situation. That doesn't change the lack of aid, the lack of infrastructure, the increased incursions into all Palestinian neighborhoods in the West Bank. It's just unforgivable, and it's still going on. And there's just a hope and a belief, and they're right. This is working. They're right, that it will just fade away, that it will just fade out and lessen. Mark, do you think Halle Berry may have torpedoed? I haven't seen the Halle Berry story. What did she say? I'd be fascinated to know. Fascinated to know. Talking of Hollywood, though, let's look at let's look at the Meghan Markle story. Meghan reaches out to her father following his leg amputation. Duchess of Sussex has been estranged from Thomas Markle since 2018. The part of this story that I thought was intriguing was what needed to happen in order for her to kind of contact him. You know, she said he shouldn't be present on stage before he goes on same stage. LOL. Sorry, I don't really understand that. Zionists have already sold most of the land in Gaza and the left bank to Zionists. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. It's like they're waiting for the construction to start and pretend it never happened. Absolutely. They are all hypocrites, says Elaine 6169. Yeah, no, I don't know. Obviously this story is everywhere. The problem with this is this: one doesn't know the intricacies or the intimacies of their relationship, and you know, I think there's a desire in the press for it to believe that she's all at fault. But obviously there was an estrangement and a disconnect there prior to, you know, all of this stuff that happened. There was obviously, there was a kind of disturbance in their relationship. So, you know, I'm curious I suppose what I'm curious to see about with this story is how the press will nudge this towards yet another takedown of Meghan. Whatever you think of her, and, you know, okay, her makeover shows aren't quite what my cup of tea. And okay, it's that sort of, you know, slightly LA-ified kind of thing. But I'm just waiting. They're reporting this as fact, but I'm just waiting to see how she'll have got this wrong. She said he shouldn't be president on stage before he goes on same stage. LOL. Me too. I don't really understand that. She needs the good press, maybe, Nora Doyle says. Tara Bashir, oh God, sorry, it's going too fast. Tara Bashir, not sure why it's anyone's business. All families have issues, absolutely. Persephone, I thought the mom didn't have a great relationship until her relationship with her dad broke down, and as ever is overpriced crap. Oh, that's her thing. She was embarrassed to have him at the wedding. That's why they felt. Yeah. Sorry, still don't like her. She needs more press, Tiny Bartlett. So, guys, at 11 o'clock, we're going over to the Curly Cooks. They're cooking. I'm not too sure. I think it's festive. I think it's going to be festive. I'm not entirely sure. I think so. Oh, yes. No, I do know. I think I've got a Christmas dinner in a baked potato. I think that's what we're coming. Anyway, guys, that's your lot. Just quickly in other news, just finally for movie fans, what's next for Hollywood if Netflix snaps up Warner Brothers? This is the news that Netflix has at this point won the bid to buy Warner Brothers. The reason I want anyone other than Paramount to buy Warner Brothers is because Paramount is owned and run by the son of Larry Ellison, who owns and runs TikTok, who is Larry Ellison. The Ellisons are an IDF funding, Zionist supporting, Netanyahu befriending family. And so for me, I'm almost willing to allow Netflix to endanger, though I don't think they will completely endanger it, the theatrical experience in order to prevent the Ellisons expanding their empire, which is what makes it so ironic that Hillary Clinton is still targeting TikTok, when of all the platforms, TikTok is the one now that everyone, if you are in any way worried about having the Israeli propaganda machine targeting your content or feeding you total fiction, TikTok is the one that you need to worry about. I mean, you need to worry about all of them, but TikTok's the one that you really need to worry about. So personally, as a movie fan and as really interested in the movie industry and everything, yes, I understand. I think it's being overblown. The idea that Netflix buying Warner Brothers is a threat to the cinematic theatrical experience. I think they will maintain the theatrical experience. Even the new Knives Out films had a limited cinema release. But I think I would much prefer Warner Brothers to be, and HBO Max, let's not forget HBO, to be held or looked after by Netflix than I would a Zionist supporting studio like Paramount. I think we need to really worry about Israel's reach, and it's not a trope and it's not a Jewish thing. It is an Israeli regime Zionist thing, the Israeli Zionist reach into the upper echelons of companies like this. So yeah, I think it's a good move personally. I think I prefer Netflix to Paramount any day. Okay, guys, go and grab yourselves a cup of tea. 15 minutes time, we will be live with the Curly Cooks. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, share, like, put nice comments underneath there, and also please do subscribe if you want to escape the nonsense of the news. Tune into our Vlogmas every day. A reality bullet of madness will land on the channel. So Vlogmas 6 is coming tonight.